I know it's like a day later than you may have ingested it all on Twitter, but I got to talk about Jared Jones. We're going to
Mm.
hit that. And then I also have a weird question about a certain starter in the American League West before we get into the revenge of both of our former teams. And then you have some interesting numbers to throw at me at the end of this show. It is the Just Baseball Show. Jack, Peter, today is Thursday, April 18th. And Peter Apple, we are brought to you by
BetMGM, the king of sports books. All you got to do, download the BetMGM app, whether that be on iOS or on Android. Once you do, use code JustBaseball when you deposit. What'll that get you? A first bet offer up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets. Don't just leave free coins sitting there on the table, ladies and gentlemen. You shouldn't do it because the books, they don't give it out all that often. So go take advantage. Use code JustBaseball on BetMGM. Remember, gamble responsibly. If you do have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older, and terms and conditions apply. And it's a good time to take advantage of that because I've been donating back to BetMGM, and it's not that fun. Stupid Diamondbacks, 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position against the Cubs. Be better. Also, me, be better and don't pick the Diamondbacks against the Cubs. It's on me and it's on them more. It's actually their fault. All right, let's talk.
We can, if you
Okay.
want. Jared freaking Jones, dude. And
Yeah.
I know, a lot has been already said about him at this point, but I just want to kind of throw you my favorite numbers about Jared Jones at this moment.
Here's the thing, though. He wasn't very efficient, right? Only got through 5 innings.
Jared Jones just did something. This is from Dan Zangrilli, who's a mutual of both of ours. He's with 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. Since detailed pitch data started being kept in 2000, no major league pitcher has ever thrown 60 or fewer pitches in a game and thrown 50 or more strikes. Jared Jones did that on Tuesday night. 59 pitches, 50 for strikes. 5 one-hit innings, no runs, 7 Ks, and no walks. This from Sarah Langs on the heels of that start. Jared Jones's 73 swings and misses are the most by a pitcher in his first 4 career starts in the pitch tracking era, which is 2008. And then you got the Pirates putting some stuff out as well. And I want to find the exact number here. They tweet a lot, but here it is. Jared Jones now has 7 or more strikeouts in each of his first 4 career games. He is the 4th major league pitcher since 1893 to accomplish this feat, joining Masahiro Tanaka, Steven Strasburg, and Jose De Leon, who did it with the Cardinals, I think, in 1983. What Jared Jones is doing has been matched by Strasburg, who before Paul Skeens was the best amateur pitching prospect that we've seen in decades, and Masahiro Tanaka, who got $155 million committed to him before he threw a single pitch in Major League Baseball. What this guy's doing, and I'm not going to say I saw it from a million miles away, but like I've been singing the praises of this guy. I never for a moment thought that it was going to look this dominant. But here we are. And if we're ready to stamp him as one of the bright young pitchers in Major League Baseball, I'll co-sign that. Are you ready to say that or no?
How can I not be? 34.1% strikeout minus walk ratio. It's incredible when a guy has a strikeout rate over 30%. So far, he has a strikeout minus walk rate at 34.1%. In 23 innings, he has 32 punchouts and 2 walks. That's exactly what you want from your pitcher. You want him to fill up
That's
the
better
zone.
than that's better than exactly what you want from your pitcher.
Exactly is exactly. Have you heard the word before? Exactly what you want from a pitcher.
I mean,
100% of what you want from a pitcher is to fill up the zone with high velocity stuff and not walk a soul. And that's exactly what he's done. And I made a joke earlier about how he wasn't efficient, how he only got through 5 innings. It was a clear joke because the man only had 59 pitches. It's just the Pirates are limiting his innings. We could have
yeah.
seen one of the best starts in Major League Baseball this year that includes a Ronel Blanco no-hitter and also includes a complete game from Ranger Suarez against the Rockies 2 days ago now.
Mm-hmm.
He was as dialed, and that's against a good Mets offense. The next day, they put up 9 runs against the Pirates bullpen and Bailey Falter. The Mets offense has been one of the best lately, and He put him in their back pocket. How can he not be one of the best young pitchers in Major League Baseball right now? It's 99 wherever he wants it. He looks like a Spencer Strider starter kit.
He looks so ridiculously good. And my thing is, the expectations for Jared Jones coming into this year from the casual fan that didn't know about Jared Jones were here. And if you're watching on YouTube, like I've got my hand at the bottom of the screen.
Subscribe
And
to
then
YouTube, by the way. Shout out to YouTube.
yeah,
people.
subscribe
big,
to the YouTube.
Big red button. Very easy.
And then the expectations for fans that knew that he had some stuff in him, like knew that he was a top 50 prospect in just baseball's top 100, their expectations were here, slightly elevated. Jared Jones's family and friends, their expectations were slightly elevated from that. Jared Jones's expectations of Jared Jones were slightly elevated from that. And then what actually fucking happened is up here. Nobody, no matter how tight the relationship is with Jared Jones, could have expected this to come. And you could say, Jack, but like, hey, he's got a 3 ERA. It went down to a 3.1 during that start. Shut up. He walked 2 guys in his major league debut. It's 22 punchouts and no walks in his last 3 starts since his MLB debut.
Well, the only reason his ERA is a little bit higher is because he's allowed 4 home runs already. And that can happen when
and
you're
2 of them
99...
came in the same game in Philly. It was a solo shot from Bohm, then a 2-run shot later.
Exactly, and that can get him, right? What has been Strider's problem? Why did he put up a 3.86 ERA last year?
What was
because
Garrett
of the
Cole's
home runs.
problem?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the home runs. When the home run to fly ball rate is out of whack, and when one guy makes contact per game and it's on 99 at the top of the zone, he gets under it, it just goes out because it's coming in so hot. So if his ERA is 3.1 and it's really due to 4 home runs, that's going to come down, and that's why I think we're so excited. Look at the strikeout minus walk. It leads Major League Baseball. His stuff plus on his fastball, which grades the physical characteristics of a pitch, he has the #1 fastball in all of Major League Baseball. Stuff plus at 148. No other pitcher in Major League Baseball has a fastball over 140, and he's at 148. Whoa.
What is Imanaga? Do you have Imanaga's fastball in front of you by Stuff Plus?
So by run value, it's the most valuable pitch in Major League Baseball. And if we're talking about random stats, you're almost giving it away. That's been the most effective. Remember, Stuff Plus is just grading the physical characteristics, whether that be release point, velocity, spin rate, all that kind of stuff. So they're just looking at the profile of the pitch, not exactly how they hit it or anything like that. That's why Stuff Plus isn't perfect. No stat in baseball is perfect, but it's a good thing to look at when he is dominating like that. And you're like, well, why? Well, it's because his fastball is the best fastball in Major League Baseball to this point.
Yeah. Jones and Skeens by the end of the year.
What about Chandler and Priester too?
How about Solomito as well?
Why not? Why not more?
And how about the guy that they just paid, what, $70 million to in Mitch Keller?
And then imagine
Pirates have something brewing right now.
Imagine if Roansy Contreras ever bounces back.
And dude, Rowe in the bullpen, Luis Ortiz in that bullpen. Like, there's something fun happening in the pitching department in Pittsburgh.
For those watching on YouTube, Pirates are cooking right now.
The Pirates are cooking a little bit.
At the same time, didn't they get swept by the Mets? That was a bad series.
Yeah, they did. And the bullpen is like the fault there, and they led in all 3 of those games, and they got swept.
I didn't think that was more of an indictment on the Pirates. I thought the Mets played great.
No, and we're going to talk about a former Yankee that's pitching for the Mets a little bit later on in the show. But how about Harrison Bader, man? Like, it's kind of fun to see this version of Bader, and he just seems energized.
He seems happy.
He seems happy. That's the right word. He seems happy.
No, it's funny when watching Harrison Bader on the Yankees, when he's got that smile and he feels good and he feels healthy, he's a great player. We saw that epic playoff run, and in high leverage situations, he was the man for the Yankees. But when he's banged up and you don't see that smile on the face, you get one of the worst players. It's all about energy for Harrison Bader.
It's totally energy, and I know that he started slowly. Like, going into that game on Wednesday, he had a 650 OPS on the year. Like, he was not playing well. But it seemed like he was loose and enjoying himself, and that resulted in a big homer, and he was fired up, and it was very fun to watch him do that. So, I thought that was interesting. I do want to get to another young right-hander that I was really banking on being good, And I really can't decide how I feel right now. And I've watched, if I haven't watched the start in real time, I've watched a condensed game, or I've gone back and I've watched the start in its entirety, pitch by pitch. Hunter Brown, 4 starts with the Houston Astros this year. 4 innings, no earned, 5 punch outs, 2 walks. 3 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned, 3 punch outs, 4 walks. 2/3 of an inning, 11 hits, 9 runs, no punch outs, 1 walk.
Major league record.
And then 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 3 punch outs, 3 walks at home against Atlanta. It was overall, I think, a good start against the Atlanta Braves. And he did what he was asked to do, run prevention. He allowed 2 and 6.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, is Hunter Brown good?
Yes, I still think so. Hunter Brown told us the problem. And you could see it on TV, but when it comes straight from the guy's mouth, this is the issue. Everything is middle. It's right down the middle. No command of anything. And it's different control versus command, right? Can you command the zone? It's one thing to throw a strike. It's another thing to paint a slider or to paint a fastball up in the zone.
Yeah.
Everything is middle. Now, against the Braves, the control wasn't exactly there. But when he was in the zone, the command of the zone was much better. And then we see the results against the Atlanta Braves, who put up 6 runs in both games and are arguably the best offense in baseball. And when I say arguably, they have the number 1 WRC plus in baseball. He went 6 innings, 2 runs. That's who Hunter Brown is. He's a good pitcher when he's able to command the strike zone. Early on in the season, he had none of it. Not a little bit. None of it. It's early. He's too talented. He's got too good of stuff. And when you're allowing a 50% hard hit rate because everything's up the middle, you're going to get hit. I don't think that's going to last, though. Now, is he the ascension guy? Right? I think what you were talking about is making that next leap to like a 2 or potentially even an ace.
I thought he was a 2.
But can he be a good 4 starter? Yes. And then maybe it's next year because he's still young, right? Hunter Brown is 25 years old. We still got plenty of time. You might be a year early. And he got off to a rough start. He was throwing it right down the middle. It's getting hit hard. And then against the Braves, he didn't throw it down the middle and was effective. I think it's just a little switch. I'm not seeing anything in the data where I'm thinking to myself, oh no, he's cooked.
Yeah, and I like that because qualitatively, you quantitatively can just see it by like the zone chart, but qualitatively it feels uncompetitive when he's not commanding his pitches. And I think you nailed it on that front. Like sometimes he shows up and it turns into a hit parade because everything is middle. And it doesn't matter that it's hard, and it doesn't matter that he's coming at you with tilt and he's coming at you with power. Like it doesn't matter if it's middle to a Major League Baseball player.
Major League Baseball players can hit anything middle.
Anything.
Unless it's Mason Miller throwing fastball. They can't hit
that. And now that's only 1 inning spurts.
He threw another inning today. Oh my God. I mean, he
makes so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Guys like that, and we talked about it, like the guys that are not top 5 relievers in the game, like slide under the radar. I brought it up with Ryan Walker, like that perspective. But Mason Miller, he was another like focus of that conversation. Even a guy like Abner Uribe. Like you just watch Abner Uribe spawn in Milwaukee, and it's like, how does this happen? Yeah. What is this? And then you realize that there's a guy in like every bullpen that looks exactly like that. I like Uribe's a unique one, and I think Uribe can be a top 15, 20 reliever in the game, but he's not top 5. And like we really only talk about top 5. Speaking of top 5. I want to blow this up into a bigger conversation about the Houston Astros, because Hunter Brown, we're having the is he good conversation at this point. Are the Astros good? And I don't mean like, are they a great team that can win the World Series? I mean like a status report, like a mental health check-in. Like, you good, Astros? Ryan Presley blew another game. Atlanta sweeps him in their place. They had a 2-run lead in the 8th. Atlanta put up a 2 spot in the 8th. Hader was not shaky in the 9th, but Hader's been shaky this year.
Presley and Abreu, they've all been bad.
They've all been bad. And man, like that offense, they did not seem comfortable at all. And it was a really tough one to see against a guy like Pierce Johnson and against a guy like Rysel and Joe Jimenez had a couple of efficient innings. I know that those guys are good. I know that the Braves are World Series contenders. I know that it's not bad to get swept at your place in the middle of April by a team that is one of the best in baseball, but it feels like we've been tapping on the cymbal and it's getting louder and louder and louder. So I want to ask you, like, where is your level of concern with the Houston Astros? Because I started this year when they got off to that slow start. I think they were what, 4 games under 500, 10 games in. Like they were, I think maybe 3-7. Is that how they started? Maybe 4-8.
Yeah, I mean they started. I don't know the exact record, but yeah, they started off terribly, and they're still playing terribly.
I don't know. At that point, I think 10 games in, I was at a 2, and now with each passing day, I'm like, is it a 3 now? Is it a 3.5? Like I'm starting to really raise my eyebrows game by game.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm at a 1, maybe
Okay.
even a 0. I'm not worried at all. You know, the Astros remind me of Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien, do you remember back in 2022 when he put up a 400 OPS in April and then put up a 600 OPS in May and was like the worst player ever? And people are asking, well, is Marcus Semien cooked? Yeah, then he went on to be totally fine. The Astros are going to be totally fine. They're too good of a team. Justin Verlander returns on Friday. That rotation is going to get a big boost from him. Now, he did not look good in his rehab outing. So if he continues to falter, now we got some issues. But I'm going to give Justin Verlander, our modern day Nolan Ryan, the benefit of the doubt. There is no possible way that Ryan Presley, who blows every game that he enters these days, Brian Abreu, who looks like a shell of himself, and Josh Hader, who like can barely pitch at all now, there is no way they continue to be this bad. There's just no way. Luis Garcia is going to return at some point to this rotation. Remember, Framber hit the IL. Javier's been doing great. But the rest of them, the rotation has not been good. The bullpen has been horrific. The defense has been sloppy. Like there was, I think it was in game 2 where Jeremy Pena is going to his left and he does a spin move. Jeremy Pena, I know that's a tough play, but he's a Gold Glover. He should make that play. You ask Jeremy Pena, should you make that play? He says 100% yes.
Yeah.
And he just throws it in the dirt, and Jose Abreu doesn't pick it, and then the score is what, 3-0? They're just not playing like the Astros. Just like Marcus Semien looked like he was blind for 2 months. They're going to go on a run here in the summer.
Yeah.
And they're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a fucking problem again.
They're going to the
They
ALCS.
are a problem. They deserve 0 red alarms for at least a month or more.
Yeah.
They're too proven. They're too talented for me to think anything but, oh, that's weird. Slow start. Look at baseball. Look how weird baseball is that the Astros and the best 3 bullpen arms that you could find, putting them in a back end, are playing weird. That's weird. That's why the sport sucks and is the best at the same time. So I'm at a 1. If I could lower it from 1, I would be lower than that on my concern level for the Astros.
So what I will say is I would be at a 1 if Jose Altuve wasn't hitting 400 and like wasn't leading the American League in batting. I'd be at a 1 if Yordan Alvarez didn't look really good already. Yordan Alvarez is among the league leaders in WRC plus at this point right now. He's racking up WAR as well. They are 4th in team OPS. Like they're one of the better offensive teams in baseball right now. But they're not winning because their starting rotation is decimated and their bullpen is drastically underperforming. They are bottom 5 in bullpen ERA in all of baseball. There are 2 teams with a staff ERA over 5. Starters, relievers. Colorado's at 6.07. Okay, that makes sense.
They're not very good.
Tampa actually has the 3rd worst staff ERA at 4.97.
Like this is classic early season baseball that makes
It is. But I will say that through 20 games, the Houston Astros have a 5.24 staff ERA, which is the 2nd worst in baseball and one of 2 staff ERAs over 5 in Major League Baseball.
Isn't that funny? Because Rodel Blanco has allowed 2 earned runs all year.
I know,
He
but
threw
like
a no hitter, then a 6-inning 1 hitter, then a
and
6-inning
Javier was
2-run guy.
carrying Christian Javier was carrying a low 1s into his last start.
That's why it's fluky. Like Hunter Brown gave up 9 earned in 2/3 of an inning. That's going to raise anybody's ERA this early on. Like think about this for a second. In June-ish, I'm not exactly sure the date, but it's going to be Verlander, Framber, Javier, Hunter Brown, Ronel Blanco, Luis Garcia. That's going to be their 6-man. Then they're still going to have all of those guys. And you're going to move some of those fringe starters who haven't been doing that well in 5-6 inning spurts. You're going to move them to the bullpen. And then they're going to keep hitting like this. And then they're just going to go on a run and they're going to make the playoffs.
You're assuming that Framber feels right. Verlander got roughed up in his minor league.
But isn't that fair to give them the benefit of the doubt? Haven't they?
It is fair. It's fair
because
we
can just say, yeah. I mean, they look way worse. We could just say that. Is this going to continue? I cannot fathom that. I cannot fathom the Death Star like faltering. I mean, it took a 1 in a million chance for, I think, what was that, Luke Skywalker or the Rebel Army to get that laser right in between there?
I don't know. Any sci-fi question that's not a Dune question, I don't know the answer to. I am all about Denis right now.
Love Dune. Oh,
Did you see Dune 2?
Oh, I saw Dune 2 in IMAX. It was unbelievably good.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and spend the last 40 minutes talking about Dune 2. It was amazing.
It was amazing. So good. I love the Dune series.
I was joking about the break for right now. He made a rehab start in Double-A. Verlander did. He made a rehab start with Double-A Corpus Christi. 4 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned. He made a rehab start with Sugarland at the AAA level. 3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned. Like, it's hard for me to think that Framber's going to be Framber after arm discomfort, and Verlander's going to be Verlander at age 40. And like, it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows, and Luis Garcia is going to be Luis Garcia after TJ. I'm at a 3, and again, like, I'm not slamming the panic button, but like, I'm starting to kind of look for it and see like, hey, where is it, just in case hell breaks loose.
No, I get where you're coming from. I'm not overreacting to the rehab starts because with how well the Astros are hitting, they don't need 6 innings, 7 inning shutouts.
Mm-hmm.
What they need is the bullpen to get its head out of its ass. What they need is not play sloppy defense. What they need is some of these starters to give them an ounce of a chance. And like guys like Spencer Arrighetti were giving it to them. They just didn't end up hitting. Like, it's one of these games where nothing's really going right. The day they score a lot, the other team scores more. The day they get a good outing from a starting pitcher, they aren't hitting. It's just been a weird start. So I'm still at a 1. I understand the concerns. I definitely do, right? What if these guys don't come back and pitch well? I am of the belief that I will never doubt the Astros. Ever, ever, ever.
Understood. I can let that be.
Yeah.
Now I want to bury you because the Yankees let 2 guys walk that absolutely shoved.
Who gives a shit? Juan Soto and Anthony Volpe are the best players to ever live. Ed Judge got the big hit, saved us from getting swept by Toronto, one of the best records in Major League Baseball. Sure, but we'll talk about the guys that we traded for Juan Soto. Sure, yeah. Well, let's talk about Michael King.
Let's talk about Michael King, who threw to the 8th. 7
yeah, let's talk about him. Yeah, great start, Michael King. We have Juan Soto.
By the way, hit with a loss, Michael King, who is now 2-1, entered the game 2-0. Michael King threw into the 8th inning. They needed 1 out from Wandy Peralta to get through that loss, that 1-0 loss. Michael King, 7 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run, 10 Ks, 2 walks. You knew that this King was going to come down the pipe, and Thorpe was the headliner, but King was the headliner. They were co-headliners in that Soto deal.
Yeah, when that trade went down, we all knew my thoughts. I did not want to give up King. That sucked. Drew Thorpe, one of our best pitching prospects, arguably our best. I just haven't seen him yet. So, if he goes in a deal for Juan Soto, I'm okay. But I was like, damn, we gave up King. I know he's going to be good. And he did get off to a really rough start with the Padres. A couple of bad starts. Command wasn't really there for him. And the Brewers are a really patient lineup, one of baseball's best so far. And he dominated them in their home ballpark. However, the Brewers still got the win. That doesn't matter about Michael King, because Michael King put together one of the best starts that maybe Brewers fans have seen against their team with how hot their offense is.
Really
and when everything's working with the sinker and the slider, he's just really tough to square up. He gets so much weak contact, and when he's in the zone, it's just tough. But the way that you can get to Michael King is when he's not in the zone, and then when he's forcing it, that's when teams like the Dodgers ultimately just beat the shit out of him. But he's going to be a very good pitcher. The Yankees got Juan Soto not for nothing. They had to give up a guy like Michael King, and the Padres got a very good young pitcher. 100%.
For sure.
But we still have Anthony Volpe and Juan Soto, so who the fuck cares?
Understood. A guy that makes me scratch my head more is Luis Severino.
Yeah,
And
weirdly
Sevy,
dominant.
weirdly dominant.
Yeah, dominant.
Remember when March 30th, which was what, second day of the season, third day of the season, Sevy made his Mets debut, and the Brewers hit him for 6 runs and 11 hits in 5 innings. And he still went over in strikeouts. I think you were on his under in strikeouts that day.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, dickhead.
Yeah, got you. But
yeah,
Sevy, 11 hits in 5 innings. Since then, in 3 April starts, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 7 Ks. 5 innings, 1 hit was a solo shot, 4 Ks. 6 innings, no earned, 4 Ks today. Luis Severino at this point has a 2.14 ERA in his first 4 starts in a New York Mets uniform. This one probably hurts a little bit more because he was just so unavailable, and you saw the flashes of what he is over several years. You just never really got it in earnest from him. And the Mets have not really got it in earnest yet. They've gotten 4 starts from him. I think your rebuttal is very similar to my rebuttal when it comes to Carlos Rodon. If Rodon starts hot, me, the jaded White Sox fan that had 6 years of Carlos Rodon, said, okay, let's wait till August. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what he does in start 21. Is how I feel about Rodon how you feel about Sevy?
sort of. I do share that sentiment, but at the same time, in your White Sox fandom life, what was the most excited you've ever been for a prospect call-up?
For a prospect call-up?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Gordon Beckham?
That's so sad.
Maybe Moncada? Like, probably Gordon Beckham.
Shout out Gordon Beckham. Mine was Luis Severino. I thought he was going to be the fucking truth. And then he flashed it. And I think to myself, the Yankees just developed one of the best young pitchers in Major League Baseball. Here we go. And even after the Phil Hughes debacle, not debacle, I mean, he was fine, but for what was expected from a guy like Phil Hughes, then going to Luis Severino and being like, this guy, look at the stuff on this man. Look at the bravado on the mound. Dude, shrieking and hollering. I love players like that who are just in the moment, fired up. Luis Severino was one of my favorite players. And then the injuries just continue to pile up, and the velocity was not quite what it was, right? This is a guy who's averaging 97, 98 with the fastball, touching triple digits. Then we're working 95, 96. It just didn't look like his arm was healthy. And that's the end of his Yankees tenure. Then he goes over to the New York Mets as a buy low option. And I liked the signing when it happened because you didn't pay that much and we know what the potential could be. I was more on the downside, though. I thought I've seen enough at this point, but it's not a bad try. And to this point, I thought he's been really effective. Now, he's not at the 97, 98 average, 96.2, but the velocity is still pretty damn good. He's throwing his cutter more, he's throwing his slider more, and he's basically just shelved the changeup. So he went to the Mets and made a little pitch usage tweak. His command looks better, which is always a big thing with Luis Severino because he can get into trouble, kind of like Hunter Brown, leaving things middle, forcing it. That's when he gets tattooed. Command's been there. Arm looks healthy. And when those two things are working, Luis Severino can be a very solid pitcher. If I'm a Mets fan, I'm excited. I mean, there's no way they expected much from him. And to see this so far, roses. And I'm happy for him. I've always been a Luis Severino supporter, not similarly to Gary. Gary was on my wrong side. Severino,
was Gary on your wrong side? Because Gary had time to disappoint. Gary had time to turn into the Yankee pariah.
God, I hated him. I mean, respectfully. If you
Respectfully.
want to hear my inner thoughts?
Hell of a ball player.
I hated him. Hated him.
Because
he was the I unfairly made him the problem with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of defense, the lack of effort, the swing and miss. So he was the poster child for my annoyance with the Yankees. Unfairly or fairly, not that I'm an emotional bipolar fan.
Now, are you happy for Frankie Montas?
100%.
Or do you feel like you hardly even knew him?
No, I'm definitely happy for Frankie Montas. I was banging the table saying that was the best trade ever. We didn't give up we Sears, Waldichuk, like, all right, Luis Medina, let's see what they end up.
Yeah, they're going great for Oakland right now.
It's a guy coming from the A's, like nobody really knows him. And I was like, I promise you, like I'm talking to my dad. yelling at him how good Frankie Montas is going to be and what a deal Cashman made. He was never healthy, and the Yankees never gave him another shot. Now he's obviously good again. So that's
Yeah.
not a Frankie Montas problem. He just wasn't
No.
healthy for us and then left. Like,
Yeah.
that's just baseball. So no, I have no ill will towards him. Gary's like the only former Yankee I have ill will towards. Like,
Understood.
and like I don't even anymore. But I did.
Gallo or Hicks?
Nah. I mean, the guys just didn't work out. I have no
Yeah.
ill will towards those guys. I mean, Hicks annoyed me. Gallo annoyed me. But once they left, I was like, yeah, I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. All right. So Wednesday was the day for former Yankees. Tuesday was the night for 2023 Chicago White Sox. And we're going to get into that in a moment. But before that, quick break. All right. So the Chicago White Sox in 2023 have turned in a couple of great starts to the year on the Hill in 2024. And it's as simple as
You see, they almost
getting out
won.
of a bad situation.
You see, they almost won today, 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2. They almost won. They put up runs, which was huge.
Huge.
6 shutouts in 16 games. First time that's happened since the 1906 Brooklyn Super Buzz.
Did you see Jay Kuda's tweet?
No, what did he say?
The Reds have scored the most runs in a game against the White Sox in their own stadium so far. So the White Sox are the only team in Major League Baseball who doesn't have the highest run output at their own stadium. It's not
That's a
ideal.
tough one.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
I saw another one that was like the White Sox have been shut out 6 times in the last 430 hours, and somebody else has been shut out 6 times in the last 430 days. Like, I don't know. Those are fun. I really enjoy those. Whenever you see them, tag me or DM them to me. It's a really tough feat. But the 2023 Chicago White Sox pitching staff is off to a hell of a start. And I'm not even accounting for Carlos Rodon, who is gone at that point. Rodon is off to a nice start with New York, and he threw so against Kikuchi.
Yeah,
He's rocking what, like a mid 2s, high 2s?
Yeah. No, Rodon's been perfectly fine. The Blue Jays are very good against lefties, and the fact that he shoved like that, I thought he was totally fine. He's been great so far.
So 3 guys that I want to highlight here real quick. Lance Lynn somehow, and then Dylan Cease and Reynaldo freaking Lopez. And we've talked about Reynaldo Lopez, but Lance Lynn is somehow doing this at age 36. And the Kyle Gibson deal looks bad for St. Louis. The Lance Lynn deal, like, this is the next weird wily vet starter that returns to St. Louis and kind of shoves in 20 2/3, 19 punchouts, and a 2.18 ERA. Lance Lynn, remember the rabbit or the horseshoe he had up his ass in LA in start 1? 4 innings, shutout ball, 5 Ks, 1 walk. After that, 4 2/3, 4 earned. Okay. But then 5 innings, no earned runs, 2 unearned, and then 7 innings, a 1-run ball in Oakland. And I get that it's Oakland, whatever. But like, Lance Lynn is somehow willing his way to an okay start to the year.
So I could do one of 2 things. I could look at the data and rip.
Don't do that.
And rip
Don't do
Lance
that
Lynn
with
to
any
shreds.
St.
But you
Louis
know
Cardinals.
what? But you know what? I'm not going to do that. No matter if his velo is lower than it's ever been, no matter what he looks like on the mound, he looks like a men's league pitcher. But at the same time, Louisiana, by you, he's blowing fastballs by people somehow. I don't know how, but hey, he's doing it. So shout out Lance Lynn.
Is he the poster boy of the Chad innings eater?
Oh,
like
I mean, that's Jordan Lyles. We gotta
is Lyles the Chad innings eater? I think Lance Lynn might be the new Chad innings eater.
No, the new Chad innings eater is Aaron Nola.
Really?
That dude just eats innings for breakfast. And he's throwing like 91 right now, but he goes like 7 or 8 innings every start. I love him now. I used to be an Aaron Nola hater. Now that his velocity dropped and he's just eating innings.
But
he
for
looks like he has a rubber arm.
Mil?
I love it. I'm in now.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm in on the guy like Lance Lynn who does the crotch grab, and then he's gonna will his way to 200 innings at age 36.
It's crazy watching him pitch. It's just different fastballs at 91. Oh, it's so fun because you never know what's going to happen. He could give up a 700-foot home run at any moment.
It could turn into Kyle Hendricks real quick.
Real quick. Oh, by the way, Kyle Hendricks has a 12.76 ERA.
7 homers against in 17 innings.
Yeah, it's not going to play. I've seen Cubs fans like, have you seen what Cubs fans have been doing on Twitter?
Yeah,
they're like giving him a retirement party. without his
Yeah, and they're tweeting out 2016 highlights from the World Series and the playoff run, and they're just like, it's been a hell of a run, Kyle.
It's
like,
been one of the
come on.
funniest things on baseball Twitter right now what Cubs fans are doing to Kyle Hendricks, because they're not bashing him. They're just like
Thanks for the
reminiscing.
memories.
Yeah, they're just, it's so funny.
Thanks for the memories. We need you out of the rotation now. Really
Like,
toughy.
I saw bucket 2011 Kyle Hendricks highlights, and it's just like, it's so funny.
Easy. Hey, remember when he won an ERA title?
That's crazy.
Two guys that are actually immensely talented, and Lance Lynn is talented in his own way, but more by the book 2024 pitching talent. Dylan Cease, Padres fans, I hope you were introduced to what this guy is. 6 innings, 2 hits, 5 walks, but 1 run and punched out 7. He's got a sub-2 through 4 starts, a 1.99 ERA. This is the Dylan Cease experience. I really liked it. And I'm not a guy that likes walks at all. Like, if there's one thing, if you say, hey, Jack, what do you hate about baseball? It's a lot of free passes. Like, I really don't like walks. I can appreciate hitters drawing walks, but like just being a fan at a game, the last thing I want to see is a walk party. Dylan Cease can get into a walk party for some innings, but he's gonna squirm his way out of it. And all of a sudden he's through 6 innings and he throws all the time. He's gonna rack up 180 innings. At his best, he's gonna have a low 2 ERA. He's gonna walk the world, but he's going to punch out the world, and nobody is going to look comfortable against him at all. It felt like Milwaukee's best shot against him was not swinging. And that's when you know you have a star on the mound.
Does it remind you of anyone? I mean, he's literally a right-handed Blake Snell that the Padres had last year. I mean, Padres fans have got to be, all right, this is what we get now. We get bona fide aces that have no idea where the ball is going, but they
this
never
guy's
allow a
more
run.
available. This guy's more available. He'll go deeper into
He'll
games.
go deeper. That's a good point, too. Yes. I mean, Blake Snell was giving you 6 there at the second half of the season.
Okay, so
but
he's
I understand
6 and
what you're
dive.
saying.
He was 5 and dive, then 6 and dive. Cease can go 8 innings and throw 110, 115 pitches.
But I feel like that's when he's not walking people that day, because when he is, it's still going to be 5 to 6 innings.
Yeah, but like, think about that. When he is walking people, it's 5 innings, a 1-run ball. When he's not walking people, we're on no-hitter watch.
No, I just feel like Padres fans are looking in the mirror and just being like, did Blake Snell start throwing right-handed? Because that's what Dylan Cease can do. Dylan Cease can win at Cy Young for the San Diego Padres.
Absolutely.
Big ballpark. He's obviously got a good relationship with his new catcher. And he's just throwing gas again. And when Dylan Cease's stuff looks like that, he looks unhittable. And you're right. The only chance against Dylan Cease, when he's got his top flight stuff, might as well just put your bat in your back pocket. Just put it away, because that's your only chance of getting on. And I was talking about this. I think it was maybe last week and I was like, Dylan Cease is back, and back in a big way. And I almost wanted to take the Padres money line against the Brewers, but I'm a Wade Miley guy. I've always loved Wade Miley. I think he's just like a 3.1 ERA, and you have no idea how. I've always liked him.
3.1.
So I just didn't want to fade Wade Miley. Would you say he's
Understood.
not a 3.1 guy? Oh, let me go to the stats. Let me.
Okay, over a full season, I need the best ERA from Wade Miley.
Okay. Oh, I'm about to Wade Miley you. That's
The last one that I've got while you pull up the Wade Miley numbers is Reynaldo Lopez. And Reynaldo Lopez, like, yeah, was he going to get a starting shot? Hey, you know what? Anybody can get a starting shot in Chicago. And Nick Nastrini looked good in his first career start. Jonathan Cannon looked good in his first career start. But Reynaldo Lopez would be a starter. Reynaldo Lopez was, given big money by Atlanta. And I thought they were paying him to be like a setup guy for Rysel. No, they paid him to be like the best 5 in baseball to this point. And Reynaldo Lopez went 6 shutout in Houston on Tuesday, punched out 7 and walked 1. So Reynaldo Lopez at this point, in 18 innings, has allowed 11 hits, 1 run, struck out 18 and walked 6. He's got a 0.50 ERA. Reynaldo Lopez, take a bow. I miss you. I want you back, but like, go thrive, man. Tell me about Wade Miley now.
So Wade Miley in 2023, last year, put up a 3.14 ERA in 120 innings. The year before that, he was banged up, 3.16 in 37 innings. The year before that, in 2021 for the Cincinnati Reds while playing in their enormous ballpark. 3.37 ERA in 163 innings. Now, in 2020 shortened season, whatever. Bad year. He threw 14 innings. 2019, 3.98 ERA in 167 innings. The dude's the best pitcher you don't care about. That's the
All
award.
right.
He's the
So-
best pitcher nobody gives a shit about.
Wade Miley having a 3-1 last year
Yeah.
was totally a fever dream thing for me.
Dude, he's good, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, like he was a 3-1 ERA and under 6 strikeouts per 9.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit,
I
man?
don't care about strikeouts
You know what?
anymore. If you strike out guys, you're going to get injured anyway. That's
Thing
why
is-
Jared Jones can't throw more than 5 innings anymore. Not on his part, because the Pirates want to save his innings, because he's striking out too many guys. You want Wade Miley's on your team. You want him.
So the
Wade
problem
Miley.
is he hasn't thrown more than 190 innings since 2015 with the Red Sox. So I can't call him a Chad innings eater. I'm just going to call him a Chad low ERA.
No, just call him a dominant ace.
He's a Chad low ERA.
He's emerging. He's an emerging ace.
He's an emerging ace at 37 years old.
From southeastern Louisiana.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, so back to Reynaldo Lopez. What am I going to say?
Nothing. We already talked about him.
It's just so annoying. I mean, it's so
Really
annoying.
good. Shout out
because
the Braves.
Shout out the Braves, because he's dotting 97. How is he maintaining velo? How does he
I don't
do
know.
that?
I don't know.
But he's doing it. From that game, the Orlando Arcia home run. Do you remember that? Where it bounced off the top of the yellow marker on top of the fence, and I'm listening to the Astros booth being like, "That's a ball in play," and it totally makes sense. Bounce off the yellow part, which is basically the top of the wall, but
The home
in
run
Minute
line.
Maid with the Crawford boxes, it has that, where it goes
Pivot.
like this and then
Yeah.
goes straight out. It hit that top line and then bounced off, and they called it a home run. That's not a home run in Houston.
I think it
I
is.
just thought
I
that was.
I
There was
think the yellow line is a home run line.
No, but if it bounces back into play, it's not a home run. That's like it bouncing off the top of the wall and coming back in. The umpires called it a home run. I totally agree with the Astros booth. The guy goes, "No, it's not." I agree with him. It wasn't a home run, even though it obviously should have been based on the trajectory. But in Houston, that wasn't a home run. Shout out Astros fans. I'm with you. You got swept, but that wasn't a home run. Also,
Interesting.
Orlando Arcia played awesome in that series. Awesome.
Orlando Arcia is just good. Like
He's
we
just
have to
really-
admit that. Like
Yeah, he's just really good.
there's a reason they extended him when we thought that Von Grissom was going to be the shortstop. Like Arcia is just good, and the Braves knew it. Reynaldo Lopez is just good, and the Braves knew it, and nobody else knew it. So
Shocker that Alex Anthopoulos knows more than us.
yeah, good on the Braves for their fucking voodoo magic. Awesome. Whoop-de-doo. All right. Before we get to it, 10 unique numbers? What did we say? Random numbers.
There's random stats I found that I thought were kind of funny, kind of interesting.
10 random numbers. Before that, want to tell you about our friends at Gametime. Again, this episode is brought to you in part by Gametime. We've all found ourselves in a situation somewhat similar to this, right? You see there's a great pitching matchup that you're willing to drive an hour or two for, or a concert that popped up out of nowhere. So you go scanning for tickets, and there's roadblocks everywhere. No good deals, nothing at the last minute, hit with a bunch of fees. List goes on. Let's fix that for you. New friend of the show is Gametime. Gametime is now an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. You've got killer last-minute deals. I like the all-in pricing toggle feature. Views from your seat, their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. I personally have had a great time with Gametime. I see Major League Baseball games on there. I see minor league baseball games on there too. And those prices, for the most part, stay even. Like those aren't going to, surge and then dip back down. But MLB tickets surge and go back down, and you can ride the waves to the best of your ability with Gametime. So use Gametime for last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater, list goes on. You get a lowest price guarantee and panoramic seat views. Again, I love the all-in pricing. Use this toggle feature so you know that you're getting into and you're not hit with the classic, holy smokes, how many fees are there feeling at checkout? So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code JUSTBASEBALL, all caps, one word, JUSTBASEBALL, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Just Baseball. All caps, JUSTBASEBALL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
The key here is the lowest price guaranteed, because a lot of companies like to say that. But the reason I use Gametime is because it's actually accurate. It's very easy. You're going to get the lowest price using Gametime. That's why I use it. Bing, bang, boop. Make sure, use our code when you download it and sign up, because you want to get that $20 off 100%. But you also just want to keep using Gametime. It is by far the best ticketing app. I use it every single time. Like, I'm going to PNC Park. Shout out Pirates fans. If anybody's there, I'll be at PNC Park on Saturday or Friday. I'll let people know on my Twitter. If anybody wants to come by, come say what's up. Feel free. It'll be my first time at PNC. And then on the other side, like, use Gametime to get your tickets there. That's what I'm going to do.
Easy.
10 random numbers.
Are you going to have the Renegade dog? Real quick.
No, tell me about it. I've never been to PNC Park. It's one of the few parks I haven't been to. I'm very, very excited.
No, I've never been. It is number
You've never
one.
been?
I've never been. When do I have time to go?
I'm just saying, you are the broadcaster for the AAA affiliate for the Pirates, and you've never been to PNC Park.
When do I have time to go?
I don't know. I just thought that
Our
at some point you would have
starts-
gone.
Our season starts a day after theirs, and it ends like a week before theirs.
You do live far. You live in the Middle East of America.
I live in the Midwest.
No, you don't.
Give me your random
You
numbers.
don't live in New Mexico.
Try the Renegade dog. It's the new hot dog, like inspired by David Bednar. I think it's a foot-long dog with pierogies and like frying, like some weird like other meat. I don't know what's going on there. It just kind of looks like an artery clogger, and I want you to try it and then put a review on social media.
I could do that.
Okay.
What's it called?
The Renegade dog.
The Renegade dog. It's a great name for something that could give you a heart attack.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for 10 random stats?
Yes.
So these are 10 random stats that I pulled about the Major League season that are going to make you go, what? All right, here's number one. I call this two guys who are mowing the lawn. Trey Lipscomb and Kevin Kiermaier average launch angle is negative 7.3. They are destroying all the worms and the bugs in the infield grass. Only 6 players have a negative launch angle to this point. That's Tim Anderson, Jesus Sanchez. Well, Tim Anderson of the Marlins, Jesus Sanchez of the Marlins, Harold Ramirez of the Rays, Brandon Drury of the Angels. But the highest is Drury at negative 3.6. That's why I wanted to highlight Lipscomb and Kiermaier. They're double the third worst. And to put this in perspective, Framber Valdez's best year in Major League Baseball, by a ground ball rate perspective, 70%. Logan Webb has never had that. That's absurd.
Yeah.
His average launch angle against was negative 5.5. So Lipscomb and Kiermaier are basically hitting batted balls as if they're facing prime Framber on steroids.
Yes.
Not ideal.
I'm really not a savant bubble guy. And you know that. This show, like the gushing blood, freezing cold thing. This is Kevin Kiermaier's savant page. His batting savant page.
Look at him walk.
It's the most blue thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good defender. You know, that's all we got. Here's one that I had no idea about. Bryce Harper leads Major League Baseball in double plays. He's grounded into 6 double plays. Only 3 players have 5. Rhys Hoskins of the Milwaukee Brewers, Alex Verdugo of the Yankees, and Jake Berger of the Marlins. A lot of Marlins so far. Harper is also dead last in win probability added. So he's grounded into the most double plays, and by win probability added, remember, you see those charts. Sarah Lang posts them all the time. What does your plate appearance do to the win probability of your team? Right? You see those little squiggly lines and percentages. Bryce Harper, by that stat, has been the least valuable player in Major League Baseball. And he's grounded into the most double plays. That stinks. That's Bryce Harper.
One of the best run producers in baseball, has 11 driven in 18 games. More than half of those came in one game. Bryce Harper has 4 multi-hit days to this point. One of them was a 3-homer day. I don't play that if you take out this one game thing, but if you take out this one game for Bryce Harper, we're talking about him in the same way that we're talking about J-Rod right now. It's like, where's J-Rod?
You want to hear a worst stat about Bryce Harper? Probably the worst stat ever.
You're telling me that 1/5 of this list is devoted to Bryce Harper?
No, this was all in one. I'm just building off of it. He struck out twice against Marco Gonzalez. That's the worst I can think of.
It's a tough eat, but lefty, it can be tough.
He's throwing 84. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out Marco Gonzalez. Number 3, Cody Bellinger has 4 intentional walks, which leads baseball, but he's hitting 182. Is
Guy gets on base.
that weird?
You
Though?
recreate him in the aggregate.
Isn't that weird? Though we've only played like 16 games. He's been intentionally walked 4 times.
Situational. Cubs have played a lot of tight games.
I know. I just thought it was random.
The situation, like Tom Hallion telling Terry Collins, it's the situation. His ass is in the jackpot. That's why he's getting intentionally walked.
And a lot of his teammates have been clutch, which brings us to number 4, the 5 clutchest players in order. The clutch stat on Fangraphs basically judges your normal stats to how you do in high leverage situations. The 5 clutchest players in order: Ian Happ, number 1; Fernando Tatis Jr., number 2; Anthony Rendon, number 3; Nico Horner, number 4; Michael Busch, number 5. So 3 of the top 5 clutchest hitters in baseball so far are all Cubs. And then we got Tatis and Rendon. Just thought that was a hilarious list of guys.
Can I tell you something? And I don't think it's shocking if you've like really listened to what I've said, especially like individual awards when we did that episode and kind of how we've talked about the NL West and all that. Aside from Ellie De La Cruz, I've derived the most enjoyment this year from watching Fernando Tatis Jr. And
You're a
I
Tatis
don't
writer.
and I don't want to hear the villain thing because he's so good at being big bad Fernando Tatis Jr. He is an electrifying watch.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
I have so much fun watching him.
I totally agree with you. Number 5 on the random stats, Jose Caballero of the Rays is the only player qualified in Major League Baseball without a walk.
Okay, but
He's your
Cabby
guy.
has been a net positive big time for Tampa.
100%.
They've got their
No.
guy.
This is just random. He's the only qualified player in baseball without a walk. I just thought that was random.
Well, Javi Baez was there until he walked on Tuesday. Javi Baez had not walked in his first 50 plate appearances of the year.
But wouldn't you qualify that as random? Javier Baez even has a walk, and Jose Caballero does not.
So Baez is not random. Caballero is random.
That's a random thing that Jose Caballero of the Rays has played all the games, but has yet to walk.
Okay, if Baez plays a full, like, call it an 150 game season, if he walks fewer than 10 times, would you consider that impressive? I think I would.
Oh, yeah. Less than 10 walks?
I want to see him commit to the bit that hard because clearly, like, the Tigers' offense is lacking a bit more than we expected them to be lacking. And, like, Baez is a key contributor to that. I kind of just want to see him lean into it. And it's like, you know what? If I'm going to be a gaping hole and a waste of money, I'm going to sell tickets because of how bad this is.
He robbed them of $140 million.
It's crazy.
You want to keep going? Number 6?
Yeah.
Joe Musgrove and Hunter Green have hit 5 batters. No other pitcher has hit more than 3. Random.
Are they angry?
I don't know. They seem like it.
Hunter Green throws hard. That stinks.
That sucks. And Musgrove throws pretty hard too, and he's just hit 5 batters. That's why I'm bringing these up. Remember, we're recording on April 17th. They've only made like 3 or 4 starts, but they've both hit 5 guys.
They're on that Mizorowski grind. Mizorowski hits like 5 guys an outing.
Oh, that'd be a disaster getting hit by that. Jacob Mizorowski, the guy who throws 101.
Yeah. It's terrifying. Jacob Mizorowski, I'll tell you right now how many hit batsmen he had last year. Jacob Mizorowski last year in 2023 through 71 1/3 innings, Mizorowski hit 18 batters in 71 1/3. In Double-A, Mizorowski had 21 innings. He hit 11 batters in 21 innings.
I'd be shitting myself to ever get in the box against him. All right, let's keep moving. I'll throw this over to you to guess. Only 2 pitchers have 4 starts, and all 4 of them are qualified as quality starts.
Okay.
Who do you think those 2 pitchers are? They're both in the American League, one in the AL Central, one in the AL East.
Singer?
Nope. Well, to be fair, this was before Wednesday's game, so it might now be Singer. But that's not the answer as I compiled the stats before Wednesday's game started.
Okay, you said AL Central and AL West.
Yes. No, AL East.
AL Central, AL East. Okay, Singer did not have one. He only went 5 on
Okay.
Wednesday.
So this
AL
still holds
Central,
that.
AL East. Scooble,
Nope.
Crochet.
Nope.
Uh, AL Central, AL Central.
You and
Have
Arm
I
have a blind
guessed?
spot. You and Arm have a blind spot for this pitcher. I've realized.
It's not Carlos Carrasco.
No. Seth
Who is
Lugo.
it?
Seth Lugo.
Lugo.
Whenever
Interesting.
I've noticed when we were talking about the Royals, like Arm did this and you've done this before, like you talk Reagan's,
Singer,
Singer, and
Waka.
then you guys go Waka. And I'm like, Lugo is the man. Do you know the Royals have allowed the least amount of runs so far this season?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The least amount of runs, the Kansas City Royals.
Huh.
Up until Wednesday's game, they had only given up 48. Next closest, I think, was 54. They only give up 2 today, so they're still winning.
Wow.
Kyle
Okay.
Hendricks has given up almost as like half the amount of runs that the Royals have given up this season.
Tough.
I almost made that a stat that Kyle Hendricks has given up, I think, like not half, but close.
Yeah. And then the other one's AL East.
Other one's AL East. Actually, yes. Kyle Hendricks has given up 24 runs, and the Royals had given up 48 to this point.
50%.
Yeah, 50% of the runs.
AL East. Not Littell. Littell hasn't started much.
Mm-mm.
Enough.
Nope. It's not a Yankee. It's not a Ray. It's not a Red Sox.
It's not a Red Sox. Is it Kikuchi?
Nope. You're on the right track, though.
Is it?
It's your favorite pitcher.
Barrios.
Jose Barrios. So the
Hell
only
yeah.
two pitchers.
That guy's a Chad innings eater.
That is a Chad innings eater. Seth Lugo and frickin' Jose Barrios. Quality. You're going to love this one. This one is for you.
Okay.
Andrew Kittredge of the Cardinals has thrown 7 innings, 7 holds.
Yes. I love that.
Sick. He does have 8 appearances. So he technically, I don't think has a hold every single time he goes in, but he does have 7 innings and 7 holds. So no matter what, Cardinals fans know when the 7th inning is here and you're ahead by 2 and you need a hold, bring in Andrew Kittredge.
Kittredge. I love that. Hold percentage through the roof.
I knew you'd love that one. All right, so now we're going to best and worst pitches. The best pitch in baseball by run value is Shota Imanaga's fastball.
Yeah.
8 run value. Opponents are hitting 0.75 against it. He throws it 67% of the time. Who was more right than Justin Steele? I mean, he told us, he was like, I'm telling you, this is insane. And he was totally right.
Aram had a great breakdown at the end of the Tuesday show about Shota. And he pretty much said from where he's coming from in terms of release height and attack angle and induced vertical break IVB, when you stir it all together, he's got the fastball that looks as close to a rising fastball as we've got in Major League Baseball. Given all of the factors that go into that, he's got like the invisibliest of the invisible fastballs.
The invisibliest.
Yes.
I like that word. 100% I agree with you. It's like Joe Ryan on crack.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The worst pitch in Major League Baseball. I mean, holy shit. Anthony Molina of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
His 4-seam fastball. Opponents are hitting 600 against it within 1,067 slugging. I want you, I don't even want to say it, I want you to look up what Anthony Molina's ERA is.
Isn't it?
It almost seems like a
I feel bad. Rule 5 pick from the Rays. Like it. If you're a Rule 5 pick going to Colorado, you're just destined for 24.92. 4 1/3, 13 hits, 12 earned.
His ERA, to tell you what ERA is, I know you know, but just to explain it, it's runs per 9 innings. So if he throws 9 innings, he's giving up 25 earned runs right now.
So the one that's crazy to me is whip. Do you know what his whip is off the top?
I think it's like 5 something.
It's 3.92.
Oh, okay.
So it's 4 base runners per inning. That means like in an inning, a run scoring.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time. All right. So that was the best and the worst pitches. But how about who has been hitting? Like this batter against this pitch is the best by run value. this batter against this pitch is the worst by run value. You might expect Javier Baez against sliders to be the worst by run value, but it's not. And the two guys who are the worst are fascinating. And the guy who's the best might even be more interesting. Jurickson Profar hits four-seam fastballs better than any player has hit any pitch in Major League Baseball. Jurickson Profar, the man called irrelevant by catcher Will Smith, is hitting 412 with a 676 slugging percentage against all four-seam fastballs against him. Nobody is better than any other pitch than Jurickson Profar has been this year against fastballs.
So it takes a certain level of irrelevance to have Will Smith, of all people, call you irrelevant.
Well, what do you mean?
Soft-spoken catcher from Kentucky.
I thought you were giving him shade, like, oh, well, Will Smith is irrelevant.
No.
What do you
but like Will Smith, again, we've had the conversation. Will Smith is the best baseball player that the casual baseball fan doesn't know. Will Smith and Kyle Tucker.
It's not Wade Miley?
It might be Wade Miley now that you've opened my third eye. But I don't know, like, Will Smith just seems like a guy that would never go out of his way to say something like that, say something negative about another player. And then, like, I heard him call Jurickson Profar irrelevant. I was like, you know what? This has added another element to the Dodger-Padre rivalry because you've got Will Smith, of all people, calling someone out.
But I feel like Will Smith has a little bit of dog in him. I feel like he's gotten into some arguments when he's sitting there with I don't remember exactly. Dodger fans can definitely fill us in the YouTube comments. He's gotten into some disagreements there. I like him. I like that. All right. The two worst players against a specific pitch. One you might be able to guess. I mean, you definitely wouldn't guess, but you can understand. Jack Sawinski versus four-seam fastballs is hitting 080 with an 080 slug against fastballs. You know O'Neal Cruz is leading the league in strikeouts?
Yeah.
It's not good.
That's a thing that's concerning. Him and Sawinski, and Henry Davis has not been good either. Like, the fact that the Pirates are sitting where they are right now, and I know they just got swept by the Mets, but, like, the fact that they went into that trip is one of these stories in Major League Baseball, and they were one of the quickest to 10 wins, with O'Neal Cruz, again, leading the league in strikeouts, and Henry Davis not performing to standard, and Jack Sawinski not performing to standard. Again, credit to Edward Olivares and company.
Here's one that shocked me. Austin Riley, -5 run value against four-seam fastballs.
He's going to be fine.
Obviously. I just wanted to bring it up because it's random. Like, Austin Riley is hitting 143 against fastballs. That's early season baseball for you.
That is.
I'm as concerned about Austin Riley as I am about the Astros. Like, this is just early season baseball.
I actually think I'm less concerned about Austin Riley than I am the Astros.
They're both at a 1.
Yeah.
That's fair. Maybe the Astros are a little bit higher for you. And maybe you might be right. Maybe Astros I'm just giving the Astros too much credit for what they've done, but we'll see. But that's the episode. That's 10 random numbers. They were pretty random. Do you like it?
They were good random. I like it.
They were kind of fun. And that'll do it. So go get your Just Baseball merch. New merch. We got a full new merch. Jack's getting up because he never wears merch. Obviously, I do. You got anything? Bang, baby. Go get your rope hat in the episode description.
Sold out of the rope hat. We need more rope hats.
Well, go get something else. We got bucket hats. We got
quarter zips now.
Quarter zips. Tons of stuff. The rope hats sell out in like 45 seconds, which is amazing, and it's a testament to you guys. But again, if you don't want to get any merch, no problem. If you could just rate and review. I'm telling you, please, it's the most impactful thing that you could do for this show without spending any money. Rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts 5 stars, and leave a written review if you would be so kind, and then hit that big red subscribe button on YouTube. We will be back on Friday. Remember to check out all of the different links, whether that's BetMGM, getting that promo loaded in, whether that's Gametime using code JustBaseball, or tapping into the 7-day free trial on Outlier. All can be found in the episode description. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Oppel. We'll be back on Friday. And with that, thank you, everybody.